Hello children, welcome to Nischals Smart Learning Solution. My name is Banala Jaya Raj and today we will discuss class 9th Nischals Integrated Biology textbook, and this book is having 182 pages and also 11 chapters. So I am reading each and every chapters. So they are there in our Nischals Integrated Biology textbook. Cell structure function, plant tissues, animal tissues, plasma membrane, and diversity in living organisms, sense organs, animal behavior, challenges in improving agricultural products, adaptations in different ecosystem, and soil pollution, and last one is biogeochemical cycles. So like that, there are 11 chapters are there, and we discuss first chapter, that is cell structure and function. Now we are entering into second chapter, so that is plant tissues. So there on the interactive flat panel board, you are observing a beautiful diagram showing TS of root. So TS of root you are observing, and it is having different colored structures, and there you see the prints of root hairs, 1, 2, 3, like the root hair, and this is cuticle, outer part of a root, transverse section of a root, and this is epidermal layer, and you see the cortex, again you see endodermis, and you are seeing the presence of pith, and also you are observing the presence of vascular bundles which are situated at the center of the TS of root, and these vascular bundles are helpful in transportation of water and so food. So these are called as vascular bundles. So this is a beautiful diagram showing you different parts of transverse section of a root. Today we are discussing plant tissues. So what are tissues and what type of tissues are there in a plant and what are the functions they are performing. So these information we will learn in this chapter, that is plant tissues. So this is the diagram, and you see chapter wise information given in our textbook, that is 9th and also 11th comparison, and you see depends of chapter wise comparison, NCRT, SCRT and also Nischals. So here you are observing chapter wise comparison in our textbooks based on NCRT, so SCRT and also Nischals textbook, and you are observing prerequisites and also course objectives, and this is an important page, and this page is giving you the complete information about plant tissues. So this is called a flow chart. Key concepts are there. So here you see presence of protective tissue and also types of plant tissues, and the center you see presence of plant tissues. So here plant is made up of cells, and cells they organize together form tissues, and tissues they form as organs like shoot system, root system, leaves, fruits, like that, flowers, and we can see the presence of permanent tissues and also actively dividing tissues. So here in this page you are observing plant tissues heading, and here you see the presence of protective tissues. So what are the tissues which are protecting plant body? So the protective tissues in the case of plants are epidermal tissues, epidermis and cork. So these type of tissues are helpful in protecting the plant from external injuries, also from infections. So that's why these tissues are called as protective tissues. So in examination you may ask a question like that, write what are the protective tissues, write protective tissues which are present in plants, and that time you need to write epidermis and also cork. So these tissues are protecting the plant from external injuries also from infections. And second, you see types of plant tissues. So here we are observing different types of tissues in plants. So there you see the prints of 1, 2, 3. So epidermal tissues, the tissues which are present on the upper part of the plant bodies. So they are called as epidermal. Epi means outer layer, external layer, epidermal tissue. Then you see the prints of ground tissue. So ground tissue form the bulk of the plant body. So most of the plant body is with ground tissues, and we will discuss what are the tissues which are present in ground tissue. Different types of tissues are present in ground tissue. We will learn in this chapter. And next you see vascular tissues. So vascular tissues are complex tissues, and these complex tissues are performing different functions like conduction of water and also minerals and conduction of food, and they are called like xylem and so phloem tissues. Xylem, conduction of water and so minerals, and phloem is also called a bast, and this tissue is useful for transportation of food from leaves to different parts of the plant body. So that is called as vascular tissue. So we discuss epidermal tissues and also ground tissue and also vascular tissue, and now we need to understand about what are meristematic tissue and also what are permanent tissues. So meristematic tissues are actively dividing tissue. They divide throughout their lifespan, and there are divided to three categories, and they are apical meristems, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Like that, there are three types of meristematic tissue we observe in case of plant body, and they are actively dividing throughout their lifespan, and they are not uh, uh, lose the capacity of dividing. So they are called as meristematic tissues. And we are seeing the another heading, permanent tissue. Permanent tissue, they lost the ability to divide. So once they are formed, and they are not, and they no more divide. So they lost the ability to divide. And those tissues are there, you see, simple tissues and so complex tissues. So permanent tissues are of two types. So they are simple tissues, and example for simple tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. So these are the simple permanent tissues. Once they are formed, then there is no more division takes place in these tissues. That is the reason they are called as permanent simple tissues. And then you see complex tissues. So why it is called a complex means it is having different types of cells, and different types of cell they form as an organ. For example, xylem, a tissue, and this xylem tissue is having different types of cells and performing same function. Origin is same, but different types of cells are present performing same function, and those type of tissues are called as complex tissues. Example, xylem and phloem. Xylem wells are useful for conduction of water and also minerals, and phloem wells are useful for conduction of food, and the other name for phloem is bast. So children, here we discuss completely the tissues which are present in the plant, and also this gives information that what are the tissues which are present in plants, a general view. Now we will discuss in detail. So what are the tissues which are present in plants? Next you see introduction. Here you are observing introduction. In the introductory part you see a tissue. So already we learned a cell. So cell is called as structural and functional unit of living organisms. So in case of plants, cells they organize together to form a tissue. So here a tissue consisting of same type of cells which are origin and performing same functions, and that is called as a tissue. So here tissues consist of cells, and they origin from a single structure. So they show here you see a group of similar structures work together to perform a particular function from form a tissue. So what is a tissue? That time you need to write a group of cells. a group of similar cells of same origin performing the same function. So that is called as a tissues. And all types of tissues have two basic components. So tissues are having two types of basic components, same origin also function, and these tissues are having intercellular spaces, and these intercellular important, this is important one, intercellular spaces are having non-living cells, and they may be fiber tissues or you see jelly like substance. So jelly like substances or fiber tissues are present in tissues and they are non-living. And now you are observing, children, a plant, and you will see the presence of tissues. So there you see figure number 2.1, tissues, and here you are observing the transverse section of a root once again, and this is a plant. And now we know what is a plant. So generally plants are green in color, and plants are helpful to us to give food. So here you see, we are discussing what are the parts of a plant. Simple. So here you see, this is called as root system. So it is called as a tap root system. So here it is having a main root, and from the main root you see the parents of development of other roots, rootlets, and these are called as and this system is called as tap root system. Generally we observe the case of dicots, but not in monocots. Monocots are having fibrous root system, they are having fiber like roots, they are of same similar that is length, and also they are thin, and tap root is absent, main root is absent. That is the reason they are called as fibrous root system. For example, grass. And this is a dicot. There you see, this is a stem, and stem is also green color. It is a small plant, and here stem is green color due to presence of chloroplast, and you see presence of branches, and these branches are having leaves, and you see leaves are there, branches are there, stem is there, and root system is there, and so those are the parts of a plant. And here you see, and this plant is growing. So today we will discuss how a plant is growing and what are the tissues which are helpful in the growth of a plant. And you see the TS of a root system. So outer part of the root system, root consisting of epidermis. So already we discussed epidermis means outer layer. Epidermis is a protective layer, and it protects the plant body from external injuries and also infections, and provide also mechanical support. And below the epidermis you can see the presence of and this tissue, and that tissue is a bulk tissue, and that tissue is called as a that is called as cortex. And again you see in the middle you see presence of endodermis, and again you see presence of some other tissues below the endodermis. They are pith, and also you see presence of vascular tissues, and vascular tissue consists of xylem vessels, tube-like structures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. You see many tube-like structures are present in vascular bundles, especially xylem vessels, and they are nothing but tracheates and tube-like structure, and these are vessels, and these vessels are useful for conduction of water and minerals from ground level to the upper part of the plant body. So that is the reason they are called as the conductive tissue, xylem vessels. Again you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and those are also special type of tissues, and those special type of tissues are also called as bast or phloem, and that phloem is useful for transportation of food. Children, here you are observing the what are the parts which we are observing in the TS transverse section of a root system. So there you see root hairs are there. So that is the reason. So I expect it as a root system. So due to the presence of root hairs on, and root hairs are growing from the epidermal layer, and this is the transverse section of a root, and that is it. So we discuss different types of tissues which are present in the plant, especially in root system. And now we need to discuss about what are the importance of tissues. So here tissues, they help in performing different types of functions. So we are observing that is the division of labor. So here xylem wells are useful for conduction of water, and phloem wells are useful for conduction of food, and ground tissue form bulk tissue, and also helpful in storage of food substances. Like that, these tissues are performing different functions, and we are observing division of labor in this plant organism. So there you see formation of tissues have brought about division of labor in multicellular organism. Plant is a multicellular. Why? Because it is having millions and millions of cells, and tissues become organized from organs. Already we discussed. So organs are formed by the formation of tissues. So tissues, they organize together from organs, cells, they organize together from tissues, and organs also they organize to form as an organism. So plants are organisms. Plants are called a living organism. They have life, and you see workload of individual cell has been decreased due to the presence of tissues. So here a cell cannot perform all functions. So that is the reason cells, they organize to form tissues, and tissues are performing what different function, and that is called as workload and division of labor. And as a result of improved organization and higher efficiency, multicellular organisms have higher level of survival.